Hey friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. The debut and rollout of Karrion Kross on Monday Night Raw has been a tad underwhelming. I don't think I'm out of line in saying that. Do you? Of course, they debuted him on Monday Night Raw, I don't know, a couple months ago, in a spectacular loss in under like 2 minutes to Jeff Hardy. And ever since then, you can tell that WWE Creative seems to want to get him back on track. Still, we're not entirely sure what happened there in the beginning, having him lose to Jeff Hardy. Was it a statement against Triple H? Was it some sort of way of making him swim in the deep end without a cool entrance, without Scarlet? Who knows where she's been? And so I figured, I thought it'd be fun today to do something where we can give them a little bit of advice. We can give WWE Creative a little hint as to how maybe you can make Karrion Kross relevant again, or relevant in the first place, because they haven't really been doing a good job ever since then. He's been on a bit of a streak, of course, picking up wins against names like Morrison, Ricochet, Keith Lee, although they sort of traded wins because Keith Lee got one win over Karrion Kross as well. So he's on a bit of a roll at this point, but he is getting no crowd reaction whatsoever. None. Nobody cares about the guy. And I have a couple of ideas as to why that is and what we can do to rehab that to make sure Karrion Kross is booked properly going forward. So we're going to do a little bit of fantasy booking today. I'll give you guys some ideas as to how to unbury Karrion Kross. And when I say unbury, I don't think that he's buried in terms of, hey, they're not giving him wins, because they're doing that. I think that he's buried in the minds of fans. Nobody cares about him. If you look at his entrance, none of the fans in attendance give a damn about the guy. He is essentially in bathroom break territory, and we don't want that. It's enough to make a man cry. And speaking of which, during this video, I'm going to have right here a little piece of artwork that I created for my merchandise site, WrestleJuice.com. I think that's right. That sounds right. WrestleJuice.com. I've got some t-shirts and now a new sticker, and it's the crying eyes of Karrion Kross in sticker form. It's parody, so it should be legally acceptable here in the United States to sell this. And if I get a cease and desist, oh well, I'll cease and I'll desist. But I thought it would be kind of funny to show a picture of, to draw a picture of Karrion Kross's face underneath that helmet, and all you can see is his little eyes, and they're crying. So I did a little time lapse thing where this will be playing right here while I'll be giving you my ideas. And then you can go to WrestleJuice.com and buy this either as a sticker or as a shirt, because, hey, why not? I like money and you guys like merchandise, right? So it's like a fair arrangement, right? Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button and then hit that subscribe button so the WrestleJuice keeps on growing up and up and up, and I'll never have a reason to cry over this channel, which I haven't anyways, because I love this channel. It's great. You guys are great. It's awesome. Everybody keeps on, all the new people keep on saying I look like John Cena. Look, I know I look like an out-of-shape John Cena. I've heard that for many, many years now. You're not the first to say it. Let's go ahead and dive into this. First up, I've sort of mentioned this already. Is he buried? No, he's not really buried, but he's somebody that absolutely nobody really cares about. He gets no reaction when he comes out. And I think his Raw rollout is still sort of on the minds of people. That was against Jeff Hardy, a guy that people really like and people really want to see used properly. And that's kind of the problem with Karrion Kross right now, is that I think a lot of fans think that they're using other guys that we all like that are underutilized to get Kross over. And that's just going to result in people not wanting to see Kross. People have been crowing for ages now, and rightfully so, that Ricochet is an underutilized talent, somebody who is always on WWE main event show, not the main event, but on the program main event, which we all know is where people go when they're not being used in a bigger way on Raw. I don't even know how to watch main event. I think it's on Hulu or maybe the network. I don't know. And I don't really care to know. Whenever they do something cool with Ricochet on main event, guess what? Somebody posts a GIF of it on Twitter, and that's good enough for me. They're using guys like Morrison, which he beat Morrison last week. It's only Sunday. I have a suspicion that this week they're just going to do a rematch with Kross and Morrison. They might do the same thing next week. I don't know what happened to The Miz versus Morrison because that was a feud I really wanted to see. Morrison's a guy I really like. Morrison's a guy I think a lot of people like. And to see Kross basically annihilate John Morrison, it's just kind of sad, and it makes me not want to see Kross. They've used guys like Humberto Carrillo, who I think a lot of people like, even though they do absolutely nothing with him. And Jeff Hardy, I've already mentioned, and Keith Lee, who people are really excited to see. And then Kross beats him, and then Keith Lee beats him, and then Keith Lee goes away and disappears again. So who knows what that's all about. Hopefully he's doing okay. So that's what you don't want to do, is what they've been doing, because it basically just makes people not want to see Kross. So here's what I think you should do. Early on in the next Monday Night Raw, you have Kross beat Morrison again. They're going to do a rematch. They always do this kind of thing. And so you just got to have Kross beat Morrison. Somebody's got to be sacrificed here. It's John Morrison. I'm sorry. You have Kross beat Morrison more decisively than he did last week. So you have him beat him in less than 2 minutes or something, cross jacket, and then Morrison passes out. You go to commercial. After commercial, you have a Kross backstage interview. Sheamus interrupts that, says, hey, fella, you beat that guy. You beat Ricochet. Why didn't you pick on somebody your own size? You'd use that line. The great thing about Sheamus is that he can sort of be a good guy or a bad guy. People kind of cheer him just because he does really cool stuff in the ring. Sheamus is actually a really good wrestler. He puts on killer matches with big, tough guys like Drew McIntyre. He's done that endlessly. He did that with Keith Lee as well. And that's the great thing about Sheamus. You use Sheamus to get crossover, because at that point, it's not like Sheamus is underutilized, so people aren't going to crow about that. Sheamus is on TV a lot, every single week. And in the end, people just want to see wrestlers do cool stuff. And so Kross and Sheamus having a really physical, tough man, big meat, slapping meat kind of match is something that people will actually appreciate. So you have in the same episode of Raw, mind you, so Kross is pulling double duty, which in the minds of fans is also going to be like, oh, wait a second, wow, this guy's kind of tough. He can have 2 matches in one show. I know it's a risk because it might be 2 bathroom breaks in one show, but hear me out. So he goes out there with Sheamus, and they have like a 25-minute killer match, right? Sheamus can lead Kross to a good match if it's just 2 big dudes beating each other up. We come down towards the finish, and right before our finish, you get a distraction by way of the returning Scarlet. I have no idea if she's able to make it back to TV right now. I have no idea what's going on with Scarlet. But I feel like when you introduce Scarlet, it's a big major event for people to sort of reset on Karrion Kross and say, oh, wait a second, there's Scarlet, there she is, that's cool, they're going to have the cool entrance stuff again, which, by the way, you bring back his cool entrance from NXT as well. So that ends up sort of a shady win for Karrion Kross, but you got the return of Scarlet, and you're in a thing with Sheamus now. The next week, they run back the match because of that distraction finish. This time, it's maybe a little bit shorter. Karrion Kross gets a more decisive win over Sheamus. After the match is over, Karrion Kross starts beating the living crap out of Sheamus while Scarlett's in the corner laughing, and it gets really brutal, and it's really nasty. He takes off the mask, he starts pounding his face in. Drew McIntyre makes the save. So then, the next week on Raw, you got Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre. This is right before the draft, mind you. Of course, Karrion Kross wins. Drew McIntyre does the honors for him and then goes to SmackDown, which is a clean slate for him, and people don't really care that he'll do the job to Karrion Kross on the way out. Now Karrion Kross has wins over Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, which is a pretty big deal, and he's got Scarlet, and then the sky's the limit. You can have him challenge Damian Priest at, what's the next pay-per-view coming up? Not Extreme Rules, whatever's after Extreme Rules. Is that Survivor Series? No, there's something between those. Anyways, so that's what you do. That's how you get Karrion Kross back on track. Honestly, it's pretty simple. You just have him get big wins against big, meaty opponents, not dudes who are underutilized, because people are just not going to want to see that. And you bring back Scarlet. But in today's climate, who knows if that's possible? Who knows what her situation is? You know, we were all wondering the same thing about Keith Lee, and he confirmed that it was COVID. So, you know, you never know. If she's able to come back, bring her back. If she's not, then don't do that. Maybe have somebody else be Scarlet, and then you can have a Scarlet versus Scarlet match. That's a good idea. You have like an NWO Scarlet come in, somebody from like developmental, and it's like, wait, that's not really Scarlet, but she's called Scarlet. And then like real Scarlet comes back whenever she's able to, and he's like, oh, honey, I totally thought this was you. It kind of looks like you, right? That's a terrible idea. Actually, that's not a terrible idea. That'd be kind of funny. So yeah, anyways, like I said, WrestleJuice.com, you can buy this as a shirt, this thing right here, or as a sticker. Hopefully you like my ideas for Karrion Kross. This is kind of a goofy video, I know, but it's kind of fun. It's a Sunday, nobody's in the house, so I figured I'd do this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out one of these other videos. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.